Welcome to the lair of the Batty Boffin.
Hi Batty fans, welcome back to another one of the Batty Boffin maths videos all about trigonometry. Now in previous videos we've been looking at finding the height and the width of right angled triangles by using sines and cosines. And we've also introduced this fabulous word here, SOHCAHTOA, which sounds like you're kind of doing the dubbing for a really bad karate video. But what that actually does is help us remember whether to use sines or cosines and whether they're linked with these lovely labels we give the sides of hypotenuse, the longest side, opposite, the side that is opposite the angle we're interested in, and adjacent, which is the side next to the angle we're interested in. Now, if you don't know anything about SOHCAHTOA, then look at some of the earlier videos, they'll tell you about that. You may have a different way of remembering which the sines and cosines go with opposite and adjacent, in which case totally fine. But if you're not sure, have a look at previous videos to find out what SOHCAHTOA is all about, or if you know what it's all about, then here's time to show how brilliant you are. I'd like you to pause the video and write down the 3 formula triangles that we use, one for sine, one for cosine, and one for tangent. Pause the video and do that now. Welcome back. So for our 3 formula triangles, we start off with the SOH bit, and we're writing it here, SOH. We'll put the lines in, that's an O, not a U. And then we're going to do the KAH bit, KAH. And again I'll put in the lines and the times just to remind you which bits are multiplies and divides. And finally we're going to do the TOA bit. There we go, SOHCAHTOA. And what that means is, it reminds us that sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent is opposite over adjacent. And those are ways of remembering the 3 formulas that we're going to use in order to be able to work out the sides. Now I have, as you see, a right angle triangle here. We have a hypotenuse of 6 centimetres, an angle of 27, and we want to find the opposite side. We've already labelled it up, and we've got hypotenuse and we want the opposite. So which of those 3 formula triangles are we going to use? Pause the video and have a look at that now. Okay, hopefully you've come up with the answer of sine. We're going to use sine because it's got opposite and hypotenuse, and those are the sides we've got and the side we're interested in. We don't know adjacent and we don't care what it is. So we're not going to use cosine because that involves adjacent, and we're not going to use tangent because that involves adjacent. There'll always be one triangle and one only that fits with exactly what you want. So we're going to use sine, and we're going to use the formula triangle to work out the formula we need to use. Remember, on these triangles here, you cover up the thing you want, and what's left is the formula for it. So we need opposite. So we're going to cover up opposite, and what we're left with, the bit at the bottom, is sine times hypotenuse. So that tells us that opposite equals the sine of, in our case, 27, times by the hypotenuse, which is 6. Okay, grab your calculator, pop that in and see what comes out. Pause the video and do that now. Okay, I've popped that in my trusty calculator. Please remember, by the way, that we do the sine of 27, and when you've got the answer, multiply it by 6. Please do not do 27 times 6 and get the answer and then take the sine of it. There's no brackets in there. It is the sine of 27 times by 6. Okay, and the answer comes out to 1 decimal place to 2.7. I get 2.7 centimetres. So that should be the length of that side there. Okay, now let's say instead of asking you that side, I had asked to find the adjacent. Let's say I asked to find that one instead. Now we can't use sine for this one because sine uses opposite and we want the adjacent. So here's time again for you to pause the video. What you've got to do is choose one of those formula triangles, use it to write out a sum that'll look something like that, pop it in your calculator and get the answer out. So pause the video and do that now. Welcome back. Well, you should have chosen cosine for that because we've got the hypotenuse and we want the adjacent. So this one here in green is the one we want. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, or since we want it the way round, which has got adjacent, we cover up adjacent, and what we're left with is cosine times hypotenuse. Adjacent equals cosine of the angle times the hypotenuse, which in our case is 6. Pop that in your calculator and you come out with 5.3 centimetres. So there we are, using our formula triangles, opposite and adjacent, to find the two missing sides.
Mwahaha!